Hello, Jess Stratton here, Senior Staff Instructor at LinkedIn Learning. I'm Nerd Girl Jess on all the socials. PowerPoint has changed so much over the years, and if you have an active Microsoft 365 subscription, you get all the great features right as they come out. Now, I don't need to do image editing every day as part of my job, but when it comes up, I don't want to spend a fortune on Adobe, nor do I have the time for the learning curve that comes with apps that only show me icons, not what the actual button does. I just use PowerPoint. So let's dive right into 5 unique ways it can be used besides a presentation, and hopefully I'll convince you to use it as your next go-to. So number 1, let's start with still images. Now, you might even have a complete full set of slides, a full slide deck, but you just want one of these images to save as a still. And that's totally fine. Let's take a look at this slide. This is perfectly useful to be printed out, maybe placed on a screen in everybody's hotel room so they can see it, maybe taken to a printer's to make small postcards or business cards. We can export this one slide as an image. To do that, click File, Export. Under File Format, you're going to choose JPEG. You can also choose PNG or bitmap if you want. I'm going to choose JPEG. I'll give it a name, arrival info, and the key is to save the current slide only. I mean, you can save every slide as a JPEG, but if you have a very long presentation, it's going to create a folder and put every slide as an individual JPEG. I only want this one. So I'm going to choose to save the current slide only, and that's the current one that's selected in the view. I'll click Export, and that's it. It's done. So we can come check here, and here's my arrival info.jpg, and if I click on it to preview it, this is what it looks like. It's fantastic. And that brings us to number 2, social media posts. You can use PowerPoint to create your social media posts. I'm going to come out of here and create a new slide. I'll show you how I created this. Oops, what am I doing? New slide. So a great thing about PowerPoint, and I'll show you this in just a moment, is that you can change the size of these slides. So no matter what kind of social media you're using, you can create the slide to fit that. But I'm just going to keep it as the stock size for now, just to make things easy, but just to show you how you can have fun with these fonts, and you can make your own fonts, and you can do text art. So I'm going to start by inserting a text box. Now this is just you creating any social media post that you can then export as a JPEG. So I'll do the travel like I just did. So I'm just going to type the word travel and make it insanely big. Actually, I'm going to change the font first. I'll use impact and just keep enlarging it until it basically fills up the slide. Oop, little too big. Okay, that's good enough. So I have this nice font, and this is just a shape. So with it selected, I can go to the Shape Format tab, and you'll notice a text fill. Now you can choose a picture. The only catch is on a Mac, you need the picture to be on your computer. Whereas on Windows, if you choose text fill, you can choose from one of the stock photos, which instantly makes things so much easier for you because you don't have to worry about finding images on your own. But there is a way. I'm going to insert a picture. I'll choose stock images because you can use a picture from the clipboard. So all I need to do is choose a picture and then copy it. Now I like this one. This one's good for travel, so I'll click Insert. And I will right click and choose Copy. And I will just delete that photo. So now I can reselect it, go back to Shape Format, Text Fill, Picture. Oh, I'm sorry, I told you the wrong thing. To do this, I need to get into the Format pane. And I can click Text Options. And here's my picture or texture fill. And here's what I was talking about. Your picture source you can also choose from the clipboard. And I click that and it's going to paste it in. So now it's filling that image with the picture. This is very, very cool. I'll close out of this. And you can put an outline on it, right? This is where you can kind of have fun with pictures, with colors, and every color that you choose is going to change dramatically the way the image feels, right? If you put a light blue on it versus a dark brown or a maroon. And you can change the weight to be nice and thick, right? Really bring out that text. Maybe make it a little thinner or something in between. It takes some playing around, but now you can really see how changing the color dramatically changes the way it looks. And that's the fun part about all this, right? Pick something that you like. And you can even put text effects on it. For example, bevels, right? You can put shadows on it and it's going to really make it nice and dramatic. So just have fun. Put your company's name on it, a slogan, something that you would want to do completely for fun. And then just export this. Number 3, portrait mode photos. Let's take a look at this photo. This was me taken at our local Ren Fair. As you can see, I went full steampunk. But what's interesting about this picture is that I took it in portrait mode on my iPhone. This means that I'm very clearly in the foreground and the cars are blurred in the background. This is a nice common feature in most mobile phones. It's a way to take beautiful professional photos, but sometimes you take a picture and you wish you had done it in portrait mode, or you thought you were in portrait mode and you weren't. I'm going to show you how you can accomplish this in PowerPoint. Let's create a new presentation with a layout of blank. I'll insert my non-portrait mode photo. It's basically the same picture, except this time I made sure we were not in portrait mode. And this slide size is not going to do, but we can change this. I'll change to the Design tab, click Slide Size, choose Page Setup, and I'm going to change it to a 5:7 picture. 5:7, I'll click OK. I will not scale. And boom, we are ready to go. So what this technique entails is making a copy of the photo and then removing the background and blurring it. So with the image selected, I'll hit Command C or Control C if you're on Windows to copy it, and Command or Control V to paste it. So now we have two identical copies of this photo, one on top of each other. So from here, I'm going to stay on the Picture Format tab, and under Corrections, I will sharpen and soften all the way on the left-hand side as far as it can go. So that was, I think it was 50%. Yes, soften 50%. And now it's made the entire picture this nice, soft, blurry background. And it's blurred me too, but that's okay, because now we are going to right or secondary click and choose Send to Back. So here's our other copy that is still intact. Now with this picture selected, I still have the Picture Format tab up. I'm going to click Remove Background all the way here on the left-hand side. So everything that it's going to remove is in pink. So from here, I'm going to do some fine-tuning. I have these two controls, Mark Areas to Keep and Mark Areas to Remove. I'll click Mark Areas to Keep first. And now this can be a little bit of a juggle. You're just going to draw lines and make sure that everything that you want to remain in the photo is not pink. So it's a bit of a juggle. I'll speed this part up. Okay, now I'm going to click Mark Areas to Remove, and we'll get the cars out of this picture. Okay, this looks good. I'm going to click to keep changes. And look how nice this is. We have practically replicated that entire portrait photo. This is nice and blurry, and I am nice in the foreground. And all we have to do from here is click File, Export. Under File Format, I'm going to choose JPEG. I'll give it a name, Portrait Steampunk. Saving to downloads, that's fine. Okay. And now let's go check out that folder. Ta-da! That looks great. Number 4, animated GIFs. This time, I'm going to make an animated GIF, or I think it's GIF. I feel like animated GIF sounds better, so I'm going to say it that way. But PowerPoint will let you do this. But the way they like to do it is to have you create a GIF based off of your slides. But I'm going to use it because I want to make a GIF out of a video that I already have. So let's get out of this, and I'm going to insert a new slide. The very first thing I need to do is get my video onto the slide. So I'll click Insert, Video, Movie from File, because I already have it on my computer. And if you try to select your video and you can't do it, it's just a file format that PowerPoint doesn't like. So you'll have to convert it before you can insert it. I'll click once. As you can see, this is a 27-second video. It's just a short clip of my band. And I'm using this as an example because they're my bandmates, so I know I don't have to ask them before I use this for my video. But if I play it, I can see that we're going through and there's a slight clip. This is what I want to use for my animated GIF. And we can do this with PowerPoint. So in the playback section, the first thing I'm going to do is trim the video, which allows me to cut off some of the video from the beginning and the end to just get what I want. It's so quick, it's so easy, and I can even go through really quickly. I don't need to know any time signatures because I can just make sure I'm at the right point. I can see what I'm doing as I'm dragging it. So this is where I want my clip to start, and now I'm going to drag from the end because I can decide where I want it to finish. Now, because it's an animated GIF, it should be quite short, so I will have it just be a few seconds. That's good. I'll click Trim. I'll select Loop until stopped, and now I'll play it. And this is what I'm left with. This is what my animated GIF is going to look like. Perfect. That's what I wanted. In fact, on the slide itself, if I wanted to, I can go to Video Format, Poster Frame, and I'll choose Current Frame, and watch what happens on the bottom left-hand side of the screen. It changes the slide thumbnail to that cover. So now all I have to do is export this one slide. I'll select File, Export. Under File Format, I can choose Animated GIF. I'll keep the quality at medium. And this is important. I don't want all my slides. I only want that last slide because I'm using PowerPoint as a tool to make an animated GIF out of my other video. So I'll click Export. Oh, I'll give it a name. Save it as band. Click Export. And that's it. Now let's have a look. Downloads. Where is it? Oh, here it is. So I'll open it in a browser. And there it is. It's just going to loop because that's what they do. And finally, I'm going to show you how I created this video. You can use PowerPoint to do this. In fact, that's what I've been using this whole time. I'm in a slide right now using a new feature called Cameo and the zoom tool, which is very, very cool. Now, you may have noticed I've switched locations also because it takes a long time to create these videos. So I've since moved, but let me show you how this is done. I'll hit escape to close out of this. And here's my Cameo placeholder. If you go to the Insert tab all the way on the right-hand side, there's a new feature called Cameo. This is going to insert a video placeholder right in your slides. Now, those slides will be linked to your webcam. So when you finally show the slideshow, it's you on camera delivering a live performance. In fact, you can choose camera format and choose from all of these. You can change the camera shape, you can add borders and effects, you can do everything. You can click camera preview to see how it's going to look, and you can also move it around anywhere you want on your slide. Now, all this image is, the pink table and the green chairs, is a slide background. I'll show you. I'll insert a new blank slide, change to the Design tab, click Format Background. Actually, I'll just create it as a regular image because it's a stock photo. So I'll choose Stock Images. And I wanted to find something that would be a good palette, a good background canvas for a video. So I searched for desk. And there were a lot of really good options and it was hard to choose. Here's the one I chose. So I'll insert it. And I believe what I did is I just kind of resized it. It didn't quite fit the whole slide, but that's okay. I didn't want it to because my camera was going to be there. So I started like this. I put my camera there. I believe I set the slide background to black. That's fine. And now I can use this as my palette for the tool called Zoom. Now here's a slide for every key point that I wanted to show you, and you have to pre-make these in advance. So I took a screenshot of this slide. I inserted this photo to show you how I was going to do it. Here is my video, and here is my last slide. Now if you'll notice, you can see these little teeny tiny thumbnail images for each one. That's the Zoom tool. We do that by clicking Insert, Zoom. I'm going to choose Slide Zoom. Now what that does is it allows me to choose the slides I want to insert, and I'm going to do them one at a time. I'll start with this one. I'll select it and click Insert, and it's going to dump it right into the slide. The neat thing about this is that I can resize it. So I can resize it, and this one was located right on this little scrap of paper here to look like it was part of the paper. So you can just futz around, slide around, use the arrow keys to nudge it into place, and you can even resize it. And it's okay if it's skewed. Nobody can tell from this angle, and when it zooms into it, it's going to show it at the right perspective. Oops. So with it selected, there's a new Zoom Tools ribbon tab. And the most important thing is to click Return to Zoom. This means that once I'm done, it's going to zoom back out. Now I can also click Zoom Background, and what that does is removes the background from your slide, which is very cool because it gives it a transparent effect. And I'll show you that in just a little bit. But let's see this in action. I'll change to the Slideshow tab, choose Play from Current Slide, and here's the slide zoom. You can see the hand icon showing that it's a link, so I can click on it, and it zooms right in. And so now I can talk about this slide, which is what I've been doing. And all I have to do is click. Because I clicked that Return to Zoom button, once I click on it, it's going to zoom back out. So this is a really fun way to present, but it's also a great way to make movies, because remember, you can export a PowerPoint video as a movie file, the same way that we've been using that export tool all along. Let's do this one more time. I want to show you the transparent feature. Actually, I'll show you it with this image. So I will insert a zoom one more time, a slide zoom. I'll choose this image and click Insert. And again, it dumps it very unceremoniously onto the slide. But I'm going to click Return to Zoom, and this time I'm going to click Zoom Background. And see what it did? It removed that white background color from the slide. And so now I resized it, and this one I wanted to make part of the iPad, so I actually used this top button and rotated it. And now I just dragged it into place and just resized it, nudged it a bit until it looked like it was part of that iPad. So it's a really fun tool. It's a really great way to present. And with the Cameo option, and now that you can record these movies, you can export them as movies, you can do so much in PowerPoint, you can make it part of your actual movie that I'm then posting on YouTube. So those are your 5 unique ways you can use PowerPoint that have nothing to do with presenting. If you liked a particular tip, or even better, have one to share yourself, let myself and everyone know in the comments. My name is Jess Stratton. I'm Nerd Girl Jess on all the socials, including LinkedIn. You can watch my full course on using PowerPoint and more on the LinkedIn Learning platform.